Am I wrong?
Math rocks. Math rocks.
Yeah.
Math rocks.
Shiny math rocks.
Clacky math rocks.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I gotta show you my math rocks.
Okay.
So we are all dragons in a sense because we all hoard math rocks.
Yes.
Even though
I
I
don't
don't
have many,
actually
though.
need.
Yeah, I only have a little.
Take the
All right.
picture.
I
Well,
have some very pretty dice for a character that I've played solely in online spaces that use dice spots only.
Oh.
Oh.
But the
Oh.
dice
Are
are
very
for her. Huh?
Those metal?
Yep, they're hollow.
Those
They're
aren't
little hollow
mine.
metal things.
Ah.
No, those are mine.
Those are yours,
not
okay.
the dice I was talking about. Those are Mom's.
Okay, those are
Yes.
pretty. What kind of metal?
I have no idea. Cheap.
Cheap. Okay. That's fair. That's fair.
They are not
I've,
fancy precious
yeah.
metal.
No, I have metal allergies, so like I probably can't roll those. And
Oh yeah, don't touch those.
yeah, I'm
Well,
allergic to
I'm-
everything though. It's not unusual.
Oh,
Yeah, that's
yeah.
fine.
Well, basically,
I don't know any other way.
The way to have those is you get a clear plastic container and you seal them in tightly, and you make sure that there's like one little container, like a baby food jar per die, and then you shake them up. And, you seal up the thing, and you flip it upside down. You shake the thing, and then it lands on the lid of the little bottle, and you can read the thing through it. And you never touch it.
That sounds like a lot of work when you can just use a plastic die.
But they're pretty.
They are
Oh
pretty.
yeah, but also
And-
they're very
And
pretty.
speaking of
Yeah.
pretty metal things,
Mm-hmm.
hello,
Uh-huh.
welcome to Pack Tactics Season 4. This is a homebrew Dungeons & Dragons campaign. My name is Crash. I'll be your DM for the evening. Tonight I'm joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Beth, Ellie, Io, and Jen. What happened last time?
We decided to go for a walk with the wizard, or something. I think.
I've been informed that I'm a druid.
Oh, okay.
Still think I can cast a mean fireball, though.
Yeah.
And Ellie, what did you say?
I said a bad pun.
Well, how do you differentiate our last session from all the other sessions?
I don't. It's a universal description.
Yeah, it's one of the squares on the bingo card. Although
I feel
bad
like
is relative.
A is that would be the unusual factor.
Poor A.
No. Oh,
We're mixing our campaigns.
Yes, we are.
Sometimes A wishes they were anywhere else, but if I put them into this campaign, they would have a different opinion.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Yes.
not like this. Why is there an old guy who sounds just like me here? I don't understand.
What? Doesn't want to be part of the ethnically kobold campaign?
Culturally kobold.
Culturally
Kobold. That's the one. Sorry, culturally kobold.
Yes,
kobold
culturally
would
kobold.
be the other thing.
Yes. And he went into the city, well, the part of the city that was outside the city walls because it was easier to get into, for breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
And you met a
Maury?
younger than Ebenezer lady who ran a cafe and memorable trinket shop. Not that kind of trinket, Critical Role fans. I'm sorry. Although that is a memorable trinket.
Mhm.
Whose name
Memento
is
Mori.
Yes. Maury's Mementos
Mementos,
was the
sorry.
name of the shop, which was not the bad pun. That was a good pun. Just saying.
All
Says
puns
you.
are good puns because all puns are terribly bad puns.
They are the
Okay.
highest form of art.
Mhm.
They are
And the-
wordplay.
and the
never mind
lowest
about
form
that.
of humor.
In having a wonderful discussion about your current situation and the smog methods that keep appearing and how the char, they don't call it charcoal because they have no concept of coal. Considering that this
They're
world-
charring magic things.
they're charring wood harvested from a swamp where a lot of evil bad things were laid to rest. They decided nothing bad could happen. They couldn't foresee a single bad problem from this because they didn't bother to look.
Oh.
Yes.
This
So
is what
this is-
happens when you willingly fail at your wisdom rolls.
Or you decide just not to make them.
Yeah.
All the times I tell Ellie to make a roll and she's just like, No, I don't think I will. That was done collectively.
I feel like this is them, doing the, make a wisdom roll, and they just set the die down on a 1.
They're training it.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
And it sure is trained. This is definitely in the you only moved the headstones territory.
Something like that. This implies that there was a headstone to begin with. So Mori decides, well, I could use a vacation, so she flips the sign on her shop to closed, breaks off a part of the door frame to use as a staff, and heads off with you with a small paper bag filled with muffins.
Muffins!
Yes.
We like Mori.
On the way, I'm not going to do the actual combat for it, but I will say that as you're walking around the outer edges of the city, through farm fields and stuff like that, you do encounter a few more packs of smog mephits, which you dispatch. They're low-level monsters, so I'm not going to have you go, oh, and here's another batch of the exact same monster. Let's have an identical encounter. Oh, wait, here's another one. Let's have it. This is not MMORPG. You do not need to kill 10 rats for me.
Yes, but do we need to give you 10 rat levers?
Oh no, please do not make me think of the Westfall quests. I am pretty sure all of the boars in Westfall were alcoholic because there was not one liver between all of them.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. Moving forward, Westfall should have fallen into the sea. So moving forward, it didn't in Cataclysm, and that is to Blizzard's shame. During your trip, Mori lets you know that the reason why she's just going along with all this is she's pretty sure she's having a mental breakdown. This has happened before. She works really hard, and sometimes she overworks. And, previously she did things like, there was that time during one breakdown she had where she ended up fighting a slime monster that imitated people and saved the city, which sure did not happen. But that's what she thought she was going through at the time. There was a time when she fought an ancient lich that had a squid for a face. Again, you can't make that stuff up, but apparently she did. So that didn't happen. And then there was the time where she met Ebenezer last time, which is adding to her thought that this is a breakdown again, because there's a recurring character. Where Ebenezer helped her dig a basement and they chased a pack of were-rats out of the city. Oh, yeah.
I mean, that doesn't sound implausible. Yeah, that one doesn't sound implausible at all.
What, people
Especially
that turn into rats is not strange to you?
That does not seem particularly strange, no.
I mean, it's not common, but it wouldn't surprise me very much.
I can literally do that right now if you want.
Okay,
Please do not turn into a rat.
I do realize that I'm talking to a bunch of lizard people.
Who are also a ragtag band of adventurers.
Yes, so your idea of normal is not the same as mine. Also, I'm probably hallucinating all of you. I'm probably just laying in bed right now.
No, you're not.
Have you considered the thought that perhaps you are a ragtag adventurer?
Pretty sure I'm just a shopkeeper.
Not with that attitude.
No, this is exactly the attitude. This is the attitude. And I don't want the other attitude. I like my shop. Somewhere back in the city, another tile falls off the ceiling.
After we get the situation dealt with so that there aren't smog mephits, you can go back to the city. Go back to your shop, right?
That's the plan.
See? It'll be fine.
All just been a nice staycation where I made things up again.
So, how long before you decide that we're not made up?
That's an odd question.
And I can bite you if you want. That'll show you're not dreaming.
Do not bite people who are helping us.
Just saying.
Yes, Percy.
Yes, this is a comment meant both for Navix and Percy. One of those two individuals is not a fictional character.
Right,
but is in fact an actual cat.
Who likes to hug people with his teeth.
And the cat is the one that is more likely to listen.
No, he is not.
To be fair, Chris did not say is going to listen. He said more likely to.
The cat is the one that is more likely to listen. I can guarantee you.
0.05% is higher than 0.00%. Just saying.
No, Percy has no brain cells to listen with.
Yeah.
You're a lot, you have way too much faith in Navix.
Well, I didn't say you'd obey, but you're more likely to listen.
Yeah. That's a loophole in this conversation.
I feel like Navix actually listens to any of you people.
When he's not screaming murder, murder, murder.
Even when he's not screaming murder, murder, murder.
Oh, speaking of that, there's been a murder.
Woo!
What?
Yeah. Well, I'm doing a time skip. Remember I said you fought a few more smog methods and stuff. So you have reached the swamp. It's been about 3 days. The muffins are gone.
Aw.
Yeah.
We mourn them.
They,
We honor
they
their
were,
memory.
They were
It is
delicious
all right.
while they were here. They were shared.
I can cook. Side note, do not let Longcap cook.
Side note, Maury always has purified food and drink prepared.
I have that one too.
I don't- I think the problem
I do.
is less. Yeah, but the thing about not letting Longcap cook is probably related to what Longcap would cook.
Hey, if it wasn't talking, it's fair game.
That's part of the issue, and while Sori has been through a situation where there was a famine and has learned the intricacies of shelling your beetles so you don't get them stuck between your teeth, she'd rather not have to do that.
Slimy yet satisfying.
Not satisfying.
The problem with Longcap is that when Longcap cooks, they will roll survival rather than cooking kit.
Purify food and drink is a cleric spell that 2 members of the party currently have prepared.
Mm-hmm.
Just saying.
I think
Also,
I did that.
remember that thing I said about the murder?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a couple people, and what's left of a cart, and what's left of about 4 horses.
Oh no. What's big enough to do this?
What's numerous enough to do this?
Give me a medicine check.
Medicine check, okay.
Medicine check. Where's my medicine? There's my medicine.
I got a 4.
With a 4,
I got
it
a
could be anything.
14.
With a 14, there's different size cuts. Some of them are quite deep, some of them are very, very shallow. With an 18, some of the cuts are very, very tiny.
Odd.
Methods? Like a whole bunch of them?
Maybe. Of different sizes, maybe?
I don't know.
I mean, how big are mephits when they hatch?
I don't know.
Do they come in teeny tiny or
Mephits don't hatch so much as they spawn in fully formed. There's no such thing as a baby mephit. Baby mephits would be adorable, and therefore they wouldn't stand for it. Thank you. I'm here all week, and not just because it's Saturday. So I had to roll the medicine check because you were specifically looking at the casualties. But if you want to investigate for additional clues, that would be coincidentally an investigation check.
Okay.
I'll roll it, see what happens.
Where is investigation? There it is.
An 11, that's not bad.
Oh, I got a 23.
21.
Yours?
Not only is that a 23, that's a nat 20.
Oh.
Yes.
Nice.
The cart was not cut to pieces.
Okay.
The cart was disassembled.
Oh, weird.
The reason why it is in pieces is because all the metal parts are gone.
So somebody took the metal parts? For what?
Also the metal parts of the bits and bridles for the horses, well, the tack, all that stuff. Belt buckles.
Did
There's no
they
swords
take,
on these humans.
Did they take any metal out of teeth or anything? Do
I
people
guess
do
we
metal
could
teeth?
check. I don't know.
I'm going to say with the 23 for an investigation check, as well as the 21 that Longcap rolled, one of you does think, let's look inside their mouths. And when you look in, well, either metal teeth were taken or they just had summer teeth. You know, some are there, some are not.
Some are not.
Yeah. Although those summer teeth look like they were recently there, and now they're not.
Maybe they had metal teeth. That's kind of weird, though. Why would you want metal teeth?
When you have a bad tooth, if it doesn't fall out properly so that you can maybe regrow one, then you pack a soft metal into it, like, you know, the gold or the silver.
Right, but
humans
kobold's teeth
don't
just
grow
regenerate.
back.
You just keep growing them, don't they?
We don't grow
Human-
our teeth back.
You don't?
Nope. Says you. I've grown back 8 or 9. How?
Oh.
Well, I lost them when I was a wee little child. Those were baby teeth that you lost.
Healing? They grow back once.
We get
for the
one
mammals.
set. That's it.
Oh.
And I'm concerned that you only lost
We
8 or
grew
9 baby
8.
teeth. Well, I stopped
Yes.
counting. What was that, Longcap?
Oh, I was saying, yes, you do appear to have more teeth than that in your mouth.
Ebenezer gives a grin, and it's very clear that while he does have more than 8 or 9 teeth, he does not have the maximum number.
Ah,
Hmm.
I call this one Chompy.
fascinating.
I suppose you can name your teeth if you want to. I don't think they're going to come when you call.
Hopefully not.
That would be concerning.
Uh-huh.
While you're having this conversation, Maury has gone over to the bodies and pulled them off the road and seems to have performed some type of ritual over each.
I'm gonna go watch the
I was
ritual.
just going to ask Sori if Sori could do that.
I want to see what kind of ritual she's doing.
Maury probably knows better ones for the mammals here.
But I want to know what it is. I'm gonna go watch.
I will also go watch.
I think Sori will do so as well because it's kind of professional interest here.
Give me a religion check.
Okay. Got a 13 total.
Okay,
That's better than a 5.
certainly. Well, Tashi's a cleric, right?
Uh-huh.
So a 13 is high enough. It appears to be some version of Spare the Dying. Clearly, they are beyond the effects of Spare the Dying, but it's the principle of the thing.
Oh.
Sori knows that one. Even with the terrible roll, she might realize it eventually.
Well, that's really all I can do unless one of you has a shovel. So
I don't think so.
I can move
Um,
earth. That would work.
I can also mold earth.
Mold earth! And flowers grow everywhere.
Well, that will be very
Oh,
useful
pretty.
to put on the graves.
Mm-hmm.
That's a druid craft. That's not mold.
Are you
Oh.
sure? It moves.
Yes.
Mold earth. Mold earth. Mold earth.
Okay. They are all minimum 6 feet under, unless you bury them in shallow graves so that you can come back for them later.
I will not wear
He
these.
said to the
I
necromancer.
think this would be a mistake considering where we are and what the problem is.
Besides, you can always mold earth back to come back for them later. They don't have to be in shallow graves.
Just remember where you parked them.
Right.
This is
Okay,
smart.
put the flowers there.
Oh, no.
Gee, it's
Okay,
nice that the
flowers on the
necromancer paid
graves.
for all these gravestones.
Oh, no.
Why do they all have arrows that point down?
Here.
Why does
It's a
the
marker
epitaph
for
say
sure.
dig here in ancient
Yeah.
script?
No. I am a respectful necromancer.
I'm gonna
This
gather up
means-
flowers to put on
This
the
means
graves.
that I would only, animate dead on, people who fit Longkep's strange, other kobolds who would presumably want to keep helping the clan, and enemies who
That sounds fair.
attacked the clan.
Longcap's philosophy is waste not, want not.
Exactly.
Yes. All right, I'm
Random
gonna go
people
plant
who were
flowers.
murdered, probably not.
Right. Speaking of things that are murdered, how long ago was this murder? How gross are those horses?
They're fairly gross. I would say that it was recent, but not so recent that like the bodies were still warm. So
Okay.
maybe only a day or two.
I'm gonna go pick flowers and stick them on all the graves.
Well, there's plenty of flowers available,
Uh-huh.
thanks to Ebenezer.
Yep.
Mhm.
Most of them growing on top of the graves already.
Oh, well, that's convenient.
Well, actually, a lot of those got buried from the mold earth thing. So,
Oh.
It's always good to
Well.
bury people with flowers. We can add some more flowers. Ebenezer can make more flowers.
oh yeah, certainly. Druidcraft. Mold earth happens.
Oh.
I'm going to end this druid.
This was your favorite character 2 weeks ago.
Yes, I know. Navik's personality is very swings and roundabouts.
I've got good days and bad days. This kind of thing happens when you're a sorcerer.
Navik just stays under his breath. I will give you no days.
Why would I want dice? I don't need shiny math rocks.
Wonder where these people were going. Like, is somebody missing them?
Probably.
Well,
What was in the
was
wagon?
facing the city.
They were going to the city. I mean, there's not much else out there that I know of.
Maybe they were trying to run away from whatever killed them.
And the wagon was empty.
Oh, wow. So what would kill people for metal?
Metal methods?
Do those exist?
I have no idea.
I think methods are based on sorts of air.
Some of them are. Some of them are mud.
Mm-hmm.
Never heard of a metal method, though. It takes all kinds.
Something that wants metal.
Well,
Anyway,
maybe if these flowers last a bit, their people can come find them here.
I'm sure someone will care. Oh, anyway, daylight's burning. Let's go.
Okay.
Ebenezer is not waiting for any of you.
Mm-hmm. Is he going
Unfortunately,
the right way?
Ebenezer is an old man, so you can all very easily catch up.
Oh, okay.
Despite
You can
little
also
short
pass him if you
legs.
wish.
Teeny little short legs.
He has bursts of energy, and then when that gets used up, he goes back to the whole step, tap thing that someone who's incredibly old will do with a cane or walker. It's missing the tennis ball on the bottom, though. Those never exist on this world. By the way, the trick for those is you don't cut one hole, and you don't cut one line in the top. You have to cut an X, and then they stay on better.
That makes
Words of
sense.
wisdom. Yes.
That makes sense. Mm-hmm.
All right. So you continue on. You do get to the swamp, which does appear to have been heavily logged when you first get there. Some of the harvested wood was used to build bridges and elevated walkways through the swamp to get to more trees. And the swamp is kind of creepy for those who don't like areas that are filled with mist and stinging insects.
Are they edible?
Well, you can try. They definitely want to eat you.
Mm.
It's only fair to taste them back.
Okay. I'm gonna eat
Dang it,
one.
that's an inspiration I made. You made me laugh.
Was this about inspiration?
You made me laugh when you said it's only fair to taste them back.
So, yeah.
Oh, good.
Yes.
Thank
So
you.
Tashi's going to eat a bug because her clan does that.
Okay, give me an unarmed strike roll.
Okay. A what? Unarmed strike? Where is that?
Actions. Should be actions, attack and unarmed strike should be there.
Oh, okay. Got a 13.
I also got a 13.
Congratulations, you have both eaten bugs.
Are they good?
Yeah.
What did the bug look like?
I mean, it could use some hot sauce.
Eh.
It had 6 legs and 1.5 wings. Well, that might be because of how you caught it.
Oh, right.
And a proboscis about as long as your little finger.
Are they tasty?
Like I said, it could use some hot sauce.
Okay. Well, we have food.
Yeah, did
Bugs.
you mention I have purified food and water prepared?
Oh, I have it too, but my clan eats bugs. And other things.
I think I'm gonna make use of that if I have to eat bugs. Just
Okay.
saying.
Yeah.
But other than the bugs flying around, there is like no wind whatsoever. There's no sound of birds. There's not even frogs.
And you'd think the frogs would like to be here to eat the bugs too.
That's why we have so many to eat.
I'd rather eat a frog.
Mm.
If there are frogs, they're too scared to croak. They're afraid that they'll croak if they croak.
Perhaps they would.
It could be metaphorical. It could be literal. Who knows? It could be a simile because that's like a metaphor.
Well, Tassi's going to keep eating bugs until she's full.
Okay, so you will continue along that game as you continue deeper and deeper, and you pass a couple what appear to have been former base camps. They were clearly struck and had everything moved out. You don't see like blood everywhere in these camps. You don't see any leftover supplies. but you do see that it's high ground that's sticking out of the water. That clearly had people on it for some time, with fresh wagon tracks going through, fresh enough that probably in the last couple of days, if there's been no rain. So
I wonder if this is where
They came from?
were they hauling char back to the city?
Oh, I didn't see any char.
I
In the
know.
wagon.
unless whatever
Yeah.
metal also wanted the char.
Maybe.
I mean, enough of that, you can refine metal. Seems weird, though.
I don't know.
And then you find the base camp.
Oh.
It is getting close to twilight. Actually, it is twilight at the time you find it. It's in the shadow of a rather large, stumpy-looking dead tree. And there's a not insignificant number of bodies. There's collapsed tents. There's a fire pit that has long since burned out. There's a couple of, we would call them charcoal burners, set up for making char that are still smoldering a little bit. But the entire scene is something that Navix might consider calling a good start.
How long have these been dead?
Well, I don't know. Let's go look.
I
Gonna
would
walk
want
over to
to
one
nip
more.
them.
Oh. Hadn't thought of that.
With a 15 investigation check, this probably all happened around the same time.
Maybe they were trying to run away from whatever happened and they didn't have any char in their wagon.
Has anyone determined how they died yet?
Let's determine how they died.
Let's
Medicine.
see.
Let me do that.
Oh, I don't know. I only have a 9.
That's
Okay,
better than
so
a 6.
With a 19,
Good.
Navix looks over the bodies and Deza got a 21. So you're both looking over the bodies and seeing the same things. The difference is Deza is looking at it with the eye of an archaeologist, and Navix is looking over it, taking notes.
You can say it. Yep.
Like, but if they cut them here, they would really suffer for a long. Oh, cut the artery 3 inches below. Nothing. It's fine. Just archiving how they passed
And
in their
confiscate
memory.
Navix's
You
notes.
really got straight into the head of a murder hobo, didn't you? I love it.
This is not my first D&D game. This is not my first D&D campaign. This is not my first group of friends. Although I came to realize many years later that those people originally weren't my friends. But never mind about that. I'm with better group.
This is your first murder hobo and you recorded games, though.
There was Punk. But yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
Punk had his reasons, though. Navix
Yeah,
just
he
hates
did.
people.
Punk had his reasons, but he was also chaotic neutral.
He was.
Navix just hates everyone.
Punk kind of hated everyone too. But never mind about that.
The two of them should never meet.
So there is, again, some cuts are very deep. Some cuts are very shallow. Most of the cuts are very shallow. Also, there's that one corpse there that looks like it's made out of leather.
Weird.
I guess
Like
we
it
should
is way
investigate.
too old to be one of the charburners.
They pulled up evil
Uh.
lich and it decided to kill them?
I don't know. Do they all have the same wounds? Like, was this a ritual kind of thing, or?
The wounds
I make-
don't... Sorry?
Can I make an Arcana check?
Sure. What do you want to find out?
If the older body, I want to try to figure out if the older body is magic.
One of these things is not like the other. Which of these things does not belong?
There's a lot of murder that doesn't belong here.
Well, that's a nat 20. So,
Wow.
yeah, the older body definitely isn't one of the charburners. It looks like it was undead, possibly pickling in the peat of the swamp for who knows how many centuries. Also, the patterns on the body look like it had been interred wearing armor. It is not currently wearing armor.
Metal armor, then, yeah?
This is a century
There's no metal here.
old, pickled undead.
It also has an imprint from a medallion right above its collarbone that looks to be a stylized skull in a circle.
And its metal armor and stylized skull medallion have either been stolen or rusted to the point that they fell off.
Ebenezer and Maury both come over to take a look, and I'm going to make a roll. And they successfully avoid conking their heads together like two coconuts. Because one of those rolls is a nat 20. The other one was a 10, so I'm going to say one of them avoids the other one. I'll let you decide who did what.
Oh, did we ever get whether the wounds seem to be
the
like
same.
just...
Oh, there wasn't a pattern to it.
No pattern?
It was whichever body part was closest to whatever was doing the murdering got the murdering done to it.
Okay.
Some kind of whirlwind of metal?
If anything, a lot of them have wounds on their ankles. They could have been hamstrung and then fallen down and then been finished off.
Wow.
But not all of them have ankle wounds. Some of them were just like taken out with a clean blow to the throat or something. So as Ebenezer and Maury are looking at it, give me a second here to check my notes to make sure I'm saying the right thing.
This thing opens its undead eyes or something. I'm going to be extremely cranky at it.
Oh no, it was undead. Now it's just dead. It has been un-und. So
by the same slicey dicey, or
by the same slicey dicey.
Oh, goody!
So, what do you think, Moors? Well, the old gods weren't exactly very creative with their iconography, so probably. It would have been metal. It would have been magical. Yep. Which means it didn't rust. It means whatever took everything else took that too. And they both stand up, brush themselves off, and Maury says, so, this was probably a paladin of Moors.
Of who?
Moors. That's right. You are really not from around here.
Right.
That's right.
Nowadays we follow the newer gods. There's 5 of them. But before they ascended, we had some older gods, which worked for a while. This was back before most of our recorded history. And then the more evil gods rose up and killed all the good gods, and things went downhill quickly. Our new gods, new being a relative term, ascended and took out the old gods that were left, and now we have our current pantheon.
Is Moors a good god or a bad god?
Well, god of death. So, in this particular case, very, very evil.
Oh.
Death doesn't have to be evil.
No, and Moors
that.
had a code of conduct, but wasn't nice.
So who has this portfolio of death these days?
And once again, I'm checking my notes to make sure I say the right words, because I made the Pantheon, so I gotta keep this straight.
Yeah.
That would be Zeno. That's the god I was brought up to serve.
Oh, hopefully not an evil one, I would assume?
No, they're all pretty good. They all fit their own roles. I mean, the main tenet is nothing's allowed to get so powerful that it could become a god that would cause imbalance again.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Not bad. Might have some edge cases, but overall, solid.
Well, that's what the high priests are for.
Edge cases?
Taking them out, yes.
This is
Who's
certainly
the
an
high
edge
priest?
case.
Who's the high priest?
Well, priests. There's more than
Oh.
one for each group.
Oh, okay.
Look, I could sit down and give you an entire history of the Pantheon.
Okay.
Something I had to
But we need to bury these people first.
So,
Yeah.
Maury's stop mid-word and sigh is canon, by the way. I'm trying to say, but we don't really have time for that right now.
Oh,
Maybe it's something we
okay.
can talk about on the way back, after we find whatever did this to make sure no more of it gets done. Because if it's strong enough to take out a paladin of a long-dead god, then I'm a little worried about that.
Okay. All right.
Still sure we're all hallucinations? I'm hoping more about that now. Hoping for or
Okay.
against. What
The
do
offer-
you think?
The offer to bite to prove we're not hallucinations is still on the table.
She probably doesn't taste good. Thanks. What?
Hey, I'm going to find some flowers if there's any to put on the graves, and if not, I will use my staff of flowers to make some.
Time to bury people. carefully and keeping watch. Someone with a good perception should be keeping watch.
Gee, does anyone have a really high perception?
Not me.
I ain't keeping watch. I'm off to go make some flowers on my own, nowhere near the graves.
Can you keep watch so that we don't get destroyed by the slicey dicey?
No.
I like how Navik said no at the same time Deza rolled a 10 for perception.
I'm going to roll perception just because. Oh,
Okay.
Wow. I got an 18.
got an 18.
How did that happen?
Navix
Okay.
has no cares about the burying of the dead and just goes off to like a tree and starts crafting some flowers on its branches and its
You make
bark.
the swamp look very pretty.
Yeah.
It's almost as if every human in a 20-mile radius has been brutally murdered and forgotten about.
There was humans here?
Well, those were the charburners. Oh, wait. I see what you did there. Took me a moment.
And apparently, at least one undead paladin who was... What the heck? Why would there be an undead paladin around?
Because this is where the Xenolites were laying things like this to rest.
Yes, but why would the undead paladin not have been the one who killed these people before the slicey dicey came?
I mean, he probably killed a few, but not everything laid to rest here was in league with the other things laid to rest.
Ah.
More than one thing may have been woken up. Actually, considering that this thing got killed, more than one thing probably was woken up. And this conversation is happening while things are getting buried and
Yeah.
rituals are being performed, by the way. In the process, I'm going to say, Utashi, with your 18 perception, chances are you probably looked at that large, stumpy, dead tree and thought, I could probably see better if I climb up that. It looks like there's a bunch of handholds that can
Okay.
do that.
I'm climbing a tree.
Okay, you climb a tree.
Mhm.
The handholds are like covered in moss and stuff, but surprisingly sturdy for a dead tree.
Well, I'm just a little kobold, so.
You're also
You
just a
know.
little kobold, sure.
Uh-huh.
They are conveniently spaced in a way that a kobold could very quickly climb. Specifically, something kobold-sized could climb.
Interesting.
And when you get to the top, you can, in fact, see for pretty far. But at the same time, you're thinking, wow, those were very evenly spaced.
Yeah, there must have been kobolds here other than us.
Also, those
If you-
little branches you were using as handholds seem to grow out of the tree and then curve and then go back into the tree.
Kobold druids.
Maybe. Okay, tree, are you still alive?
No! That's not canon. You get no response from the tree.
Okay. So what do I
Hey,
see when I
Navix,
get
come
up
see if
there?
this tree's alive.
I look over the tree. It's clearly a dead tree, yes?
Well,
Well,
give
it
me a
made
perception
little-
check.
It
Or
made little
investigation check.
handholds for me to climb it.
Oh, does it have to be investigation? Investigation's fine. Nope, that's terrible. 7.
You
Hmm.
investigate it and find that it's not moving, and it's not actively attacking you, and it's not actively murdering anything, but you're not going to hold it against it because of the first two things. Actually, no, this is Navix. You still might hold it against it.
It's probably a dead tree.
But it made little handholds and then they, disappeared. That's how I got up here.
No,
they
they haven't
were
disappeared.
kind
They're
of
still there.
kobold.
They're still there.
They're back. Okay.
They never
Yeah,
went
it's
away.
like kobold size.
But we can totally have it be canon that Utashi thinks they went away and came back, but they never went away.
Yeah, well, Tashi's not super bright, okay?
We'll see shaped
And what-
handholds that both ends go into the tree.
I walk over
basically,
to the dead
Kind
tree.
of, sort of, yeah.
hmm
Okay, you walk over to the dead tree.
These handholds look spaced out to be like kobold or gnome or dwarven size.
Yeah. Maybe
Yeah.
there were kobolds here.
Like, you would very easily be able to climb up this.
Okay.
They would have to be further. Well, a human could climb up them easily as well, but they wouldn't be using every single handhold.
Mm-hmm.
Is that the thing that was maybe holding the paladin in it? Are there any holes that have spots for entombed dead evil paladins?
I mean, the main hole that you see is the one trunk that seems to be remaining. Looks like it broke off. The very large branch broke off close to the trunk, and it looks like it's hollow. But all you
Oh,
see
wow.
inside of it is blackness.
I can cast light.
Cast light, cast light.
Okay, so I'm gonna get as close to that as I can, and then I'm gonna like pick up some random object, like a rock or something, and cast light on it, and kind of like put it near the empty space in the tree.
Okay, so you're still at the top of the tree, but it's covered in moss. So you can very easily pick up a clump of moss and cast light on the moss.
Okay.
And when you do that, a lot of you see teeth.
Where?
Well, not in the stump. Over there on that other thing that looked like a stump before. Now it kind of looks like a closed mouth with a lot of empty teeth.
He's actually going as a stump mimic.
The what?
I'm sorry, what?
Is he actually going as a stump mimic?
Stump mimic.
No, nothing is moving except for you.
Yeah, so where are we seeing teeth?
Well, imagine, if you will, this is a misshapen tree.
Okay.
And you have crawled out on one branch that is broken off.
Mm-hmm.
So you're on the edge of that. But there's another branch over there that grows out at an angle from this one. So they're kind of forming like a Y.
Okay.
And lowercase y, not capital Y. Because the bottom is bent weird too.
Mm-hmm.
That then turns at like a 90-degree angle. And that seems to have teeth. It kind of almost looks like a kobold from here. If kobolds were giants.
Wow. Okay, this tree has teeth, and I'm gonna get off the tree now.
It has teeth? It's a stump!
Has teeth.
Fireball!
Oh!
Firebolt is cast.
What?
The tree is now bursting into flames.
Okay.
But
Now or
get
it's
off of
not.
it.
Huh?
You might want to
Sorry,
get off
what?
of it.
Yeah, I'm climbing down or jumping down.
Put
whatever
it
works.
out, put it out, put it out. Don't burn magic wood.
I'm going to say that Utashi very easily climbs down because, like I said, handholds.
Mm-hmm.
The tree...
Convenient.
Would the fire on the tree be, like, is it still small enough where, because Druidcraft can put out small fires, would Druidcraft be able to put it out?
It spreads quickly enough that Utashi had just enough time to get out of the way.
Okay.
Oh.
And then it burns out because the stuff covering it was flammable, but the tree was not.
That's a little
Magic.
weird.
Don't burn
Because it
magic
wasn't made of wood.
trees.
Okay, my turn to investigate.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that was a 17.
Oh.
I love how it uses physics to roll the dice, because while the die is moving, it tells me you're rolling, but it doesn't send me the number because it doesn't know the number yet. So I just have to sit there waiting for it to spin for however many minutes. So yeah, it's a tree that's not made of wood. Well, it's covered in ash right now.
I want to use my inspiration.
You may use your inspiration. Well,
I don't
11
think
is
that
higher.
did any better.
It is definitely not made of wood. It's not old wood. It's not new wood. It was probably never wood.
Tap, tap, tap.
Are the handholds still there?
Yep.
I'm going to climb up.
All right, watch out for the teeth.
When Sori goes tap, 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 it sounds like you're tapping the outside of a very large ceramic jar. Like you hear the echoes of it coming out of the stump that now kind of looks like a shoulder joint.
Is this an orph? They're the forged people.
Okay. At the top of the... I'm going to keep calling it a stump. And I was never clear on this. Where are the teeth?
Oh, the teeth
On
are
the
on
branches?
top of that. Well, not they're on top of. The teeth are part of the mouth of what appears to be a giant kobold head stuck to what you thought was a stump, but it looks like a giant kobold torso. One arm is going down into the swamp muck. The other one was reaching out, apparently, but broke off who knows how many centuries ago.
A statue
Gotcha.
built by ancient kobolds, or
Maybe. But why here?
Has anyone actually looked in the hollow opening yet?
That's what
He
I'm...
was about to.
Yeah.
And I'm about to do that now.
Okay.
Better
Okay.
have some light source.
I think I already. Well, here's some lit moss if you need that. It glows
You can
as
have
I
dark
cast
vision,
light on
guys.
it. Yeah, but not all of us do. Not all of us do.
Not every kobold in the party has dark vision,
Right,
because you're all culturally kobolds,
right.
but not physically kobolds.
Yeah, so not
Okay,
everybody
I have
has
dark
it.
vision.
We are kobolds
Yeah.
with a slight disability.
Okay, that's pretty good.
And actually, I can see perfectly well out to 120 feet, so I'm fine.
Okay, so you look inside the stumpy arm, and it's definitely hollow. There look like there's a lot of attachment points inside, but there's nothing attached to it. And as you look further in, it definitely curves to go into the main torso.
Okay. I'll be back in a little bit.
Okay, be careful.
Okay. The attachment points are all close enough together that it's fairly easy for you to climb through. I'm not going to require a roll for that. So you easily go down the arm and then down the torso. You find some things that look like hatches, although a couple of them are definitely below the waterline of the swamp, so maybe don't open those. One of them is probably above the waterline, and you can give it a push, but that's up to you.
Yeah.
Okay. So this is a fun thing for me to say to a kobold. Give me a strength check.
Oh, wow.
With a 17,
Oh, wow.
you give it a push, and at one point, there were possibly hinges on this. The hinges are not there. It's just the outer shell. So you give it a push, and whatever was holding it in place gives way with a cracking sound, and a large panel, well, large by kobold standards, falls off the torso of the giant kobold statue and lands in the water with a splash, and everyone sees Dazah's head peeking out of the hole.
Hey guys, giant robot.
Fascinating.
Oh,
It's a robot?
we don't have an artificer with us.
True.
And,
Quick, somebody multi-class.
well, that's not entirely true that you don't have an artificer.
Oh.
How do you think
You're a
I'm
multi-class
making this?
shopkeeper artificer?
Well, clerics aren't very good at building. No offense.
That's all right.
It's true.
And as you say this, a sound starts echoing up from inside one of the legs. The tapping
Concerning.
sound.
Something's in there, or
It sounds
Is it waking
somewhat
up?
complex, but it's a lot of rapid tapping sounds.
something's coming?
Is that an
I'd get-
attempt at communication or escape?
Well, we've been playing for about an hour, so what do you say we take a short break before we find out?
Okay. Sure.
Yep.
All right, we're back, and everyone's awake, and there has been no crisis of any sort. Everything's fine. We're all fine here. How are you? Tap if you're fine.
How are you?
Murder.
He's fine.
I'm going to say it's canon that if Navix keeps saying murder at every odd moment just to fill the silence, and sometimes when the silence doesn't need to be filled, Ebenezer starts picking it up as a trait.
Oh no.
You're teaching the old mammal bad habits.
Hey, it's what the kids are doing these days. I kind of want to fit in and be hip and with it.
Murder.
I mean, you can tell Ebenezer has never been hip or with it because Ebenezer uses terms like hip and with it.
Mm.
I'm surprised I found another Crow fan.
How do you do, fellow youths?
Oh dear.
Well, in any case, Ebenezer sticks his head through the opening that Dazah made right before the break, partially pushing Dazah out of the way in his enthusiasm, and spits down the leg.
I don't want to agitate it if that's where Slicey Dicey is hiding.
Well, based on when I heard the impact, I'd say it's about 40 feet down to the bottom.
Wow.
Really want to push him. Really want to push him and say, let's find out.
Oh, you recently watched that episode of Doctor Who as well.
About 20
So can the people with dark vision look down the leg before getting the heck out of the potential death trap?
Not so much a death trap as it's dead, and possibly a trap.
Okay.
I'm blissfully aware of this, and I'm continuing to explore the torso.
I mean, it's an ancient artifact from the days of the kobolds, so of course you're investigating.
Mm-hmm.
Somewhere we just hear...
What's the Lara Croft theme?
Doesn't really have one.
There's no Tomb running thing. That's
I have
sad.
never played a Tomb
Really?
Raider game, so I wouldn't be able
I
to
don't
tell
think
you.
I have either.
There isn't really a theme that's like, oh, that's Tomb Raider.
I found out just recently that Shortstop from the Indiana Jones movie that was never made had his own theme that played when he was doing something action-based.
Aww.
Oh, neat.
And then for decades later, he could not get a job in acting.
Oh
And
Aw.
Percy is upset about this too.
no. No, this is Flicker.
Flicker is upset about this too. But apparently
Yep.
he was in Everything All at Once, so
I haven't seen
Aw.
that yet.
I haven't seen it either. But this is
I would
not
actually
talking
like
about
to
movies for the
determine-
podcast. What's that?
I would actually like to determine how much of a drop it is. I do want to kind of just drop something down there.
Well, you have dark vision. You can just look.
Yeah, but it's more fun to drop something and maths it.
Well, you can maths it. Deza's already in there and can look down and see that it's about 40 feet.
Okay.
And then it curves, possibly because it's a foot, or a tunnel, or a foot that goes into a tunnel.
Is the tapping thing coming closer?
Give me an investigation check. And I'm saying investigation because perception would be to hear it at all, but it's loud enough you can hear it anyway. Like
No.
a voice echoing up.
No,
the
I am
stairwell.
not
Oh,
giving you
no.
an investigation check.
You
The
rolled a
investigation
0
check
for
is.
investigation.
I rolled a 0 for investigation.
You're not
no.
sure it's actually tapping.
Okay, I'm gonna roll investigation just to see what happens. Got a 17 total.
If anything, it's getting slightly further away or fainter.
Maybe we scared it off.
Or
I mean,
else
it's not
it's
getting
trying to
fainter
be
that
quiet.
quickly.
Maybe it's trying to be quiet, sneak up. To sneak up on us and eat us.
Well, if Deza's still running around in there, it's probably not trying to eat kobolds.
My understanding is Deza still has her head sort of peeking through this opening until she tells me otherwise.
Oh, I thought I had said that I was going back in.
Right.
Yes,
I
Okay,
think,
so
yeah.
you're going all the way down.
yes, and
Okay, you see a whole
every
bunch of
instant,
turtles.
every instant my hands are free, I'm taking every note.
I just had this mental image of Deza with a pen in her mouth, climbing down with 2 feet and 1 arm, while the other arm is holding a notebook,
Scribble,
And-
scribble.
Yeah,
and
pretty
writing with her mouth, holding the pen.
This is. I just need someone to decipher this later because I can't read it.
Yeah, there's a lot of handholds that all look like they weren't designed to be handholds, but rather they had things attached to them. Like this is just the outer shell, and it's some type of ceramic, but it must be a really tough ceramic to have lasted this long. Especially since once you get down to the foot, it is very clearly below the bedrock level, because that tunnel there that breaks into the foot is definitely going through bedrock.
Oh, wow.
The tunnel goes off in 2 different directions, as if it just went right through the foot and kept on going. But the tapping's only coming from one direction.
Okay. I am going to make notes as to what I see in the foot, and then I'll head back up.
Okay. You come up to the top to see Navix trying to convince Ebenezer to lean a bit further forward.
Not wrong.
The funniest possibility would be Ebenezer peering down with his human eyes into the darkness and having me just pop up right in front of him.
That's going to make me roll.
I'm okay for this alternative.
You startle Ebenezer and he loses his grip. Navix,
Uh-oh.
you've lost your opportunity to push Ebenezer.
This was funnier.
There is one sandal that's still stuck to the opening. And about 40 feet of fall damage later,
Uh-oh.
I'm going to roll for that.
Oh no.
Okay, that's survivable. Yeah, that's survivable. I had to double check. You hear a thud, and I'm okay.
Are you sure?
I
I think we better go.
I think it ate my sandal.
Well, spit it out. One's up here, I think.
It's still just like hanging on
Maybe?
the opening.
Yeah.
I think we better go in and patch him up. He probably broke something.
Okay.
At
My
the very
sandal.
bottom, there's a tunnel.
There's a tunnel?
There's a tunnel.
Oh, he can't see it. Okay. I'm going to pick up some more moss and cast light on it. And
Wait, I got
go
this.
in.
Produce flame.
Oh, no.
No!
Do it, do it.
You hear the sound of a whip crack.
That doesn't sound like
Thorn
fire.
whip. He did thorn whip.
Sounds like.
Okay. Okay.
Idiot.
All right. I'm just gonna go down there and bring him some light so he can see what he's
Flame
doing.
braid!
I'm
Oh,
gonna kill him.
What?
Oh, wait.
He deliberately said flame braid, not blade. Braid.
Huh. I don't know that one.
So, good news. I can see the tunnel. Bad news.
Okay.
I think my beard is slightly on fire.
let's go.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Climbing down, carrying a little moss thing in one hand that's glowing so everyone can see.
It turns out that he cast fairy fire.
What does that do?
He is burning through spells.
Most of these were cantrips,
That's not a cantrip.
but fairy fire is not. It is a first level druid spell, and it outlines a target in blue, green, or violet light. Your choice. Ebenezer did not choose, so it's really a combination of all three.
Pretty.
Yes,
Sparkly.
and is usually used on an opponent because it makes them easier to hit.
gives all allies advantage on that opponent.
Yes. Well, apparently he cast it on himself, centered on his beard.
Wow. Okay. I've not seen prestidigitation used like that before, but okay.
Press to what now?
I don't know how to explain it.
I will not murder the people. I will not murder these people. I
More
might.
Don't murder the
over
one
it.
who makes muffins.
Moore looks over at Navix and says, "That's an odd admonition coming from you."
I might murder these people.
Don't murder Maury. She makes good muffins.
You realize you're part of these people, right?
I'm less murderable.
Okay. How hurt is the druid down here?
He looks a little scuffed up, but no worse for wear.
He's okay.
I think-
All right.
Nothing that won't buff out.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe
All right.
do not buff the old druid. If
Her
you
name
are
is very
providing-
pretty.
If you're providing helpful spells and that kind of buff, sure, do that. But if you go near him with any kind of power tool with a circular attachment that
Oof.
spins and polishes, don't do that one.
Okay.
He already has fairy fire cast on him. He doesn't need to be shinier.
No. It's pretty though.
Why, thank you. What
Mhm.
is-
Very pretty. Okay, so let's climb back out. Up you go.
Not until I
Start.
find my sandal.
It's up there.
Maury hands it over. It's right here. I figured if I
See?
didn't grab it, Navix was going to toss it down at your head.
Oh, yeah, that could be.
Pretty likely.
Mm-hmm.
Okay,
Who's the
why are we
last
going back
person
up?
to go down before me?
Hmm?
Who was the last person to go down before me?
It's either me or sorry.
Mm-hmm. Maybe Maury.
Maybe.
I mean, Maury does want to figure out things are real. I push Maury down.
Oh no.
Give me a strength check. Strength athletics.
Athletics. Oh, my-
I'm rolling on the wrong table. I have stats for Maury. I should roll on.
That's a 0.
Oh.
So you give a back rub to Maury, who says, "Just don't."
Have fun.
And then she lets go and slides down the leg.
Geronimo slides down.
Alonzi!
No, it's a leg, not a Z.
Some people will get that right.
Yeah, I got it. I approved.
No one here is named Alonzo, though. That would be ideal.
Alonso.
So
Okay, so what are we doing down here?
probably
There's a
investigating
tunnel.
the tapping sound.
All right, tapping sound. Can we still hear
Yeah,
it?
the tunnel's this way.
Okay.
Maury casts light on her staff.
Oh, neat.
Bull.
It now has the effect of looking like she's holding a giant fluorescent light bulb. Okay. So you go down the tunnel, and tapping gets louder. So either it's coming closer to you, or you're going closer to it, likely the second one, or it's just tapping harder, which is possible, but less likely. And you find an alligator.
Oh,
Well, maybe it's a
wow.
crocodile. It could be. Well, it's made of metal.
Does it move?
It's currently moving. It's missing one back leg.
Mm-hmm.
So it's sort of pulling itself along a bit and then tapping with one leg on the ground in this, like I said, it's a complex pattern. And then it drags itself forward a little bit more and then taps again. Then it drags itself forward a little bit more and taps again. What's weird about it, besides the fact that it's made of metal and missing a leg, is its head looks like a giant drill bit, and its back, instead of being like the armor-plated thing that alligators kind of have with all those little ridges, It's a metal basket filled with scraps, including, its leg is in there. So it's not missing its leg, it's just not attached.
Concerning.
Weird.
What else is in the basket of metal scraps?
Fragments, like there's some screws and bolts in there. Bits of what looks like chainmail armor that's been cut into smaller sections. Looks like parts of what used to be a sword. Those look like arrowheads.
So, like the things that were missing from the bodies up above?
Yeah, not enough to be everything that's missing, but a significant amount of it.
Why is it collecting those?
Well, you could ask it, but its head is a giant drill bit, so it doesn't actually have a mouth.
Yeah.
Also, it's a crocodile.
Right.
I'll
The
handle this.
crocodiles don't usually
I can
collect
speak with
metal.
beasts.
It's not a beast.
It's kind of like a robot, maybe?
How long have I been muted?
Oh, wow.
All
No
this
wild,
time.
Eric.
That is why we've been ignoring you. You have been too quiet. Sorry.
I was wondering, but I didn't want to put any pressure on you.
I think you might have been muted since...
The
Actually,
break.
no,
The
you did
break.
unmute eventually.
Oh, yeah.
Since the break, presumably.
Sorry.
Okay, well...
Anyway, what I
Okay.
said was, I don't know, let him try.
Got a point.
All right, here we go. Speak with beasts. The tunnel behind you erupts into a wall of fire.
Ah.
Oh.
Oh my! I'm gonna murder this druid.
Not if he murders you by accident first.
Yeah, that's a possibility.
I regret saying to let him try.
We have learned a valuable lesson, Longcap.
The lesson is that apparently he can cast Wall of Fire.
Not when he's wanting to cast fire.
Does the Drilligator have any writing on it?
Drilligator. I love that.
It does not appear to have any writing on it.
Is it a trilligator or a crocodile?
I don't
In
know.
my defense, I did not think he could cast 4th level spells.
Yeah, that's fair.
My
How
defense,
fast
I didn't know
is-
it either.
Oh my. How fast is this
What's
metal
the spell
thing
level?
moving?
It is moving as fast as a slow crocodile would move if you cut off one of its legs.
Hmm.
And it's not running.
It's
It
not
is
running.
definitely. It has not acknowledged you in any way.
It doesn't care about us because we're not metal. Maybe?
I mean, you have metal on you.
I mean,
Yeah.
maybe-
I don't know, do
yeah, maybe we don't want to be in front of it. I don't want to be in front of it.
I? I don't think I have anything metal.
How big is the thing on its back?
Well, as a creature, it is large in size. So think regular full-grown crocodile scale,
Those get big.
but take its torso and turn it into a basket.
Hmm.
I'm
Maybe
going to sit in
somebody.
the basket so
Oh,
that I
go
can
ahead.
make some of my notes legible.
Okay. You climb into the basket. There is no resistance. I mean, the contents of the basket are slightly pointy. So it'll take a little while for you. But actually, no, you can sit on the leg, because that seems to be the last
in
thing
there.
put in the basket. And it has pointy bits, but you can turn it so that they're not pointing up. So you can sit on that. And it might be going just a tad bit slower now, but it's negligible.
So, who made this thing that wants to collect metal? And when?
Ancient kobolds?
I don't know.
I think a more important question would be, what did collect the metal?
And bring it to the crocagator here. The drilligator.
That has a giant drill for a head. All the bodies we found were sliced, not drilled.
Indeed.
All right, yeah.
Is it currently cutting the tunnel,
No,
or just moving slowly through it?
It's just moving slowly through it.
I think it got abandoned.
How's it putting things in the basket?
I don't think it can.
So something else put those in its basket.
Yes, and we haven't found that yet.
Uh-huh.
I wonder if these are those clicker things.
These?
Bees? No, clicker things.
No. What
What's
is the these?
What's a clicker thing?
Yeah, something I've heard the barbarians talk about last time I visited.
Oh, okay.
They've got a few mines up there, but they don't dig too deep because there's clicking noises, and if you dig too far, then everyone just disappears.
Oh, no.
You weren't going to bring this up earlier? Didn't seem important. Navix, you know how you say you're going to kill everyone in the party, or you're not going to kill everyone in the party, but you can't really decide yet?
I'm still debating.
I'm moving slowly towards your camp.
Hey!
Oh, well, welcome. It's a fun camp to be in.
Well, we can have that discussion provided that we don't all get brutally murdered.
Oh, you think you think if things go south, I'm going to stick around? You're funny.
Yeah,
Well, the question is whether you could get out before the things that went south show up.
I essentially have 3 health pills.
they chased down a 4-horse cart and slaughtered everyone. An empty 4-horse cart.
It might be a kind of heavy cart. You never know. They get that way. And yet.
Well, it was a little lighter after it was disassembled.
Mm-hmm.
Are there any pieces in that thing that you're sitting on, Deza, that look like they came from, like, the horse's stuff or the cart?
Or teeth.
There's some stuff on top that looks like it might be coming from the cart, but teeth would be small enough that they would have fallen down underneath the other stuff, so you'd have to empty the basket to find out for sure.
I repeat that.
Okay.
Meanwhile, Ebenezer is walking alongside Deza and the crocodile, or whatever we're agreeing to call it. I don't think we have a consensus at this point because there's multiple good names or multiple bad names. You take your pick. I'm cool with whatever. I'm just not telling you what I named it in the stat block. Spoilers. But at its speed, Ebenezer, old man that he is, has to slow down.
Wow.
It's just slow enough that he can't, like, stop to rest.
It's tapping, right?
It taps with every set of steps.
What's the pattern?
Give me a perception check at disadvantage.
So that's roll twice and take the lower.
Yes, or you can right-click on perception, and there should be an option for disadvantage.
I forgot to. But if I can roll again on that if you want.
Certainly.
Shall I just roll one more time, or shall
Yes. One more time.
You're not going to let me get 3 rolls.
No, I'm not.
Yeah.
We'll take the lower of the 2 12s.
Uh-huh.
And the best you can tell is it's not a symmetrical pattern. So it starts off with a bunch of rapid taps, and then there's a pause, and then there's a few more sets of taps. But the few more sets are shorter in length than the first set. But if you try to count it, you can't count that quickly.
Does it feel like it's doing approximately the same pattern?
Yes. If there's variation, your senses can't pick up the differences.
Some kind of code to keep the slicey-dicey from coming and messing with it?
Or calling it.
I like the first idea better.
Uh-huh.
So do I.
Yeah.
We should try to mimic it.
No. By we mean somebody who actually could.
I don't follow.
Yeah.
You're a druid. Don't try to mimic it.
Also, you've never cast the same spell twice unless it was an accident, so don't.
Right.
Is it looking for its foot?
No. It hasn't acknowledged anything other than take a step forward, tap. Take a step forward, tap.
Okay.
During this whole conversation, it's moved about 30 feet down the tunnel. We've
Well,
got to
we're
get to all the
going
long
somewhere.
pauses, which were canonical.
Well, we're going somewhere if we're following it.
I think that's a place to end off.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
Well, just about, because at the last moment, Ebenezer says, well, if we're going to keep going down the tunnel, I'll light the way.
No!
Firebolt! And
No.
for the first
does he
time, you see a firebolt cast when he says firebolt.
He said
And-
the right spell.
Wow.
The
And
wrong
a-
situation.
A perfectly formed tiny ball of fire streaks down the relatively straight tunnel
Oh no.
Yep.
and lights up a significant amount of glittering metal covering the walls and ceiling. And that's where we're going to end it for tonight.
Oh good, I thought you were going to end it on revealing that he actually did know how to cast Fireball and...
Yeah.
He did actually know how to cast Firebolt. Eventually.
Right, for it to all go bad.
Actually.
But he's senile enough that he might forget by next time. So thank you everyone for listening. Thank you everyone for playing. I was joined by a bunch of awesome people, including Chris, Beth, Ellie, Eo, and Jen. Who's got something they want to plug besides USB-C? That's required in the EU now.
I've heard this, yes.
What about USB-A?
Well, you don't have phones with USB-A, so. But if it's your phone, it's got to be USB-C, not Lightning.
My iPad has USB-C now.
Yay!
My phone is old. It has lightning plug. Anyway, Eo's mom writes books. Elizabeth-McCoy.com. And someday we'll get the thing to actually be just one word as well. But, you know.
And speaking of books...
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so my website is Book of Jen at bookofjen.net. It's got a lot of Diablo stuff on it, some book reviews I'm intending to add more soon, and just whatever else I feel like putting there. So that's at bookofjen.net. But I'm also the host of the Shattered Soulstone podcast, which is mainly focusing on the Diablo series of games made by Blizzard Entertainment. And, well, now it's Activision Blizzard. And so I will also bring up all the shenanigans that company is doing. That's at shatteredsoulstone.com, and new episodes come out every Saturday.
And speaking of podcasts and complaining about Diablo...
Not just Diablo. I do a fortnightly podcast about video games, nerd culture, comic books, all the things. The Coast to Coast Expanded Universe, you can find us at tctceu.com. Yeah, we're really weird and nerdy.
If you liked when we very briefly talked about movies, listen to theirs. It's got questionable fictional canon for a games company that I will not edit the wiki
a lot
for.
of that. Do not even deny it. You were encouraging it the whole time.
I was not encouraging it. I'm just impressed that the lore is so deep.
Gav has a really, really amazing imagination.
I agree. But also, if you're a kid, maybe don't listen to it.
Yeah, we're not a kid-friendly podcast. That's just how that is. You listen to it at your own risk. If you're young, it's your own fault. Don't be dumb.
It's not even my brother and my brother and me thing where just so all the babies out there will know how cool they are for listening. What's up, you cool babies? No, just don't. And we also have a Patreon, patreon.com/cocktailgaming. Help us keep the lights on along with other illustrious patrons as I lose my ability to speak, which I've been losing since I started recording, including Chris, Chris, Ellie, Eric, Mickey, Shen, Walter, and patron emeritus Cindy. But until next time, this is Crash saying tap 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 tap. Why does it keep knocking 4 times? I don't understand. Good night, everybody.
Bye.